like these two, where they're sitting, looks like they got into a fender bender. Hey everybody, today I am in North Georgia, probably about 30-45 minutes north of Atlanta, just off of I-75. There's an old junkyard here in White, Georgia called Old Card City. And it is a really, really neat place. As you can see behind me is an old, I guess old GMC truck. But there's like 35 acres or so of old cars that at one time it was a working junkyard or salvage yard. But then they decided they was gonna stop doing that and it's just sit here. And now it's open to the public. It costs $20, I think, to walk through. But it is just a really neat place, and I'm just enjoying being here, looking at all these old cars. Seeing all these old cars bring back a lot of old memories of cars that either we had or someone we knew had it. And it's just really neat. I've seen models of cars that I don't even remember seeing before on the streets that I guess they just didn't survive or just weren't popular enough for people to hang on to them. But if you're ever in this area, I highly recommend that you stop and give this place a visit. I didn't really know how to begin this video, so it's about to begin, and I'm just going to be walking through the entrance there. But anyway, I'll try to show you around as much as I can, and if I know what the cars are, I'll try to mention it. And again, a lot of them I have no idea what they are. But I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. But this place is just great. You need to come here and look at this place. It's just amazing to me. If you love cars, like I do, you're gonna like this place. But anyway, I'll get started with the video now. Okay, I just stepped out of the building and I don't know where to begin. I'm just really excited to be here. This is just so neat and cool looking out here. And you don't know what you're gonna find in this junkyard. I can't remember how old it is, but I mean it's from like in the maybe 40s or something like that. But this is gonna be really interesting. And there's all kind of homemade signs that are just interesting to read. Says enter a 32-acre piece of art lost in time. See the front end of the 1970 Chevy sitting over there. And this looks like a cab off of early A model or somewhere in that era. They got a collection of old tricycles here. They're just decaying away. And there's an old truck sitting over there. Same with the bicycles. They're just kind of scattered everywhere down through here. Someone who knows those bicycles will probably know what a lot of these are. Now that I'm over here closer to the truck, I can see it's actually an old tow truck. And I have no idea what kind it is, or it's just, it could be an old Ford or even an old Studebaker truck. There's no Chevrolet of some type. Probably the 40s, I'm guessing. And there's an old school bus over there, and it looks like it was probably from the 40s or 50s. Maybe I can get a better look at it when I get over there. There's no four-door Cadillac. And there's another, I think that's a Cadillac over there also. I think this one over here is an old Ford. There are warning signs out here to stay on the clear paths and don't get between cars. It said there could be a mountain varmint out here. This is an old Plymouth being taken over by the woods here. Look, the roof is already rusted through this one, and there's trees growing up through it. It's old Hudson. early 70s Chevrolet wrecker. This old Studebaker truck, it looks like rust has already taken a lot of the fender away from it there, and part of the door's missing. Somebody salvaged a seat years ago, and yeah, I can see the front end of that school bus over there now. It looks like an old Ford, probably early 50s, late 40s. Look at the way the tree has grown around the rear wheel of this old Chevrolet here. And there's an Edsel over on the other side of that. Now, for years, this was an old salvage yard, and they sold parts. So a lot of the cars like this Edsel here has part of the front end missing on. I guess it was probably salvaged. Here's no Dodge. And it's an old Oldsmobile of some type. Some of these cars I don't even recognize from ones that I see at the car shows and stuff. Here's another old Cadillac, probably early 60s maybe, late 50s, early 60s. Here's an old Ford wagon. Here's a early 50s, late 40s GMC side of Ford, probably the same era. And that one over there is a little earlier. Oh, look at that old Cadillac. It is just pretty much caved in because of the deterioration over time. And look at the hood chrome on that car there. I don't even know what kind of car this is, but that little hood bird there is pretty neat looking. Get a better look at there. It's actually kind of similar to a 55 or so, but it's definitely not. There's old Mercury. At first I thought it was an Edsel. This 57 Chevrolet will probably break a lot of people's hearts to see it in this condition, because its life is over, I would say. It does look like they salvaged about everything they could off of it, though. The engine transmission's gone, the instrument cluster's gone, seats are gone. So at least maybe it gave its parts to a survivor somewhere. Another old Chevrolet, station wagon, it looks like. Here's an old Buick. Yeah. Look at the dash in that thing, the chrome that used to be on it. It's an old Ford. Again, there's just random signs out there here. In 1877, Thomas Edison invented the phonograph and made the first sound recording. So anyway, this place is just filled with little signs just randomly through here. Over there's a row of doors that I guess were just pulled to be randomly salvaged many years ago. Never found a home. Same way with these fenders over here. I see that one on top over there by the tree is a 57 fender, and I see some trunk deck lids there too. Somebody even stuck a 57 sticker on this one. Big pile of bumpers here that have been pulled many years ago. Now they got this building out here in the woods, and they've got a lot of homemade signs that have looks like portions of Bible verses on them. Here's an old 58 or 59 GMC bus, it looks like. They put a sign on the back of the bus that says, "Patina is my Valentine." And This one does have patina for sure. Here's a 64 Chevrolet Impala convertible. And it's sitting beside the old Buick over here. Probably early 60s. Here's a Dodge Monaco, I think it is. And here's the old Chevrolet 61 model, I think. And it got in an accident, apparently. Got hit pretty hard there. There's the old Doodlebug. There's a 60 Chevrolet beside the old Mercury wagon there. It was a Colony Park model. I think that's a Torino right there. And there might be a Galaxy on the other side of it. Here's a Mercury, and that might be another Mercury. Looking at the style, look at the styling on that old Mercury there, the way the roof lines slope back. That was just so neat the way that was designed back then. There's an old 4-door 55 Chevrolet. And now here's just a collection of old engines laying on the ground that they pulled, and I guess were going to be salvaged at one time, and then they never got reused. There's another old Chevrolet. Over there's a 61 again, or yeah, 61. There's an old 40 Econoline van that's pretty much rusted out. And this beside this old 55 Chevrolet truck frame, or cab rather, there's the back end's gone off of it. Here's a big work truck of some type. Looks like it could have been a stake bed truck at one time. All of this is really sad, seeing these cars in this condition, but this is really sad seeing this Volkswagen bus sitting over here. I think it's one of the 23 or 21 window Alpine editions, but it's toast. There's an old Dodge truck by Ford. Here's a couple of mid-60s Chevys that were probably stacked up to be crushed. And there's old Nova. I see a Buick over there. There's a fastback Torino body sitting here. There's an early 70s Camaro. I see somebody stole the front disc off of it and everything. Some Gran Torino Sport. I'm going to take a guess and say this was an early or mid-70s Impala, but it sure is rusted out. I mean, the whole roof is gone off this thing, and the bottom and the doors, everything's disappearing on this one. Here's a couple old Plymouths here. I think this one is a 70 model Fury. And this one I'm going to say is like maybe a 66 or so. It was a Belvedere. Here's a couple of front clips over here. It seems like this area over there here must be the Chrysler area. Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth. Look at this old Buick rusting away here. This was somebody's pride and joy at one time when they drove it off the new car dealership lot. And over here they just seem to have piled the cars up. And over there looks kind of like a Volkswagen, I guess, graveyard over there. I didn't recognize it when I walked up. This is actually a 70 Chevelle right here. There's a Challenger body that is disappearing. I think that's maybe a Duster on top. Here's another Challenger that didn't survive. And this, I think, Duster, it has a license plate on it still, and it was issued in '76. So I guess that was the last year it was on the road. I think this one is a Dodge Coronet. Probably around '69 or so. Here's an old Vega, and a lot of these found their ways to junkyards pretty quickly because they didn't hang around very long. Here's another Cadillac, 62 or 63, something like that. I see some type of old Coca-Cola cooler over there, but I can't get over there to it. Here's like a 62 or 63 Impala, and the way it's sitting there on the other car, it looks like it wanted to fall off, but these two trees have caught it. Here's a Monte Carlo being driven by a skeleton there. I guess he's pretending to drive it anyway. Here's the old 68 Chevy, and I usually look at the grill, see what year model is, whether it's 68 or 69, but it's gone. So then I look at the doors to see if it has a vent window, but there's no door. So then I finally made the way to the back, and by the back end you can tell it's a 68 of the tail lights that are still there. This 04 here is broken down, and you can see the bed has now separated in the back there, falling off. I gotta say, it's very pleasant out here walking through the woods. The birds are singing and it's quiet. We're not that far from the interstate, so I can't hear it, but it's way off in the distance. But this is just a pleasant experience out here walking around looking at these old cars. Here's I guess a 67, 68 Camaro. Here's a 71 or 2 Chevy. I've seen a lot of, I guess, mid-50 Chevrolet trucks, mid to late 50s in this area over here. Here's a 56 Chevrolet truck beside of a 57. Now this at one time was a customized van, and it was probably somebody's pride and joy at one time. Let me show you this over here. You can see that at one time it did have a custom paint job on it that's almost gone. Now there's a little left here on the door, but yeah, during this era of time, people just loved these things. The van craze took off, and it lasted, I don't know, not a long time, maybe 10 years. But you can tell this was a nice one, got the custom windows in it and everything. But now it's just sitting here disappearing. There's an old 70 Chevy that's sitting on top of, I think it's a Dodge D100 van, if I'm not mistaken. Got this old Chevrolet delivery truck. It's rusting away. You can see the roof is separated from the sidewall there. Corvair sitting here, and as I look around the place, there are thousands and thousands of boat hubcaps laying around here. A pile of old bicycles sitting here. Some old signage. Here's like a mid-70s Camaro, and it's like a mid-70s Cutlass too, I guess. A couple of old Bonnevilles. This one down here has a badging that says it was a 455. Somebody probably hot rodded that at one time. Oh, it's really weird. There's actually a peacefulness to this wooded area out here. Another Corvair sitting there. my 62 or 3 Chevy wagon. There's Ranchero over there. Got a bunch of drive shafts in the back. Here's a big Oldsmobile, probably mid-50s, I'm guessing. And I think this is a 67 Tempest, I think it is, or GTO Tempest. Here's a 57 Chevrolet truck. It's still got the old 6-cylinder sitting in there. There's another old Vega. '56 Chevrolet that's now trees have grown around it and trapped it in. Here's the old Thunderbird. And one of the things they tell you when you come in here, don't open the doors and hoods, because a lot of them, the hinges have rusted away and the door will actually fall on you. But somebody couldn't resist opening the hood on this Overtaken because they came with big blocks in them. I guess they just had to see the engine, or they may have raised it just so people could see it. Once again, another Vega. And I think that Oldsmobile was a Omega. And it's sitting on top of a Cutlass. There's an old Mustang, early, let's see, what would this be, around 74 or so. But anyway, it's got, I'm not sure about the year, but it's got the graphics and all on. I bet it was a pretty car at one time. There's a Maverick, a Torino. There's a Mercury Comet slowly being crushed by a Ford Mustang. And there, I think that is a Ford Granada sitting on top of the other car over there. They didn't last very long. They disappeared from the landscape pretty quickly. There's another Mustang, and even more Vegas with a Grand Prix sitting on top of it. And I can't even get over in there to see what cars are in this area over here. Got a Mustang here on the outside border. I think that might be a Fairlane over there in the middle. I do see a couple more Mustangs in the distance. Well, here's a green Mustang on top of this. And let me swing back around here, not too fast. That's the same color Mustang right back there. I just walked by that stacked on top of another car, so I guess they had a thing about stacking green Mustangs. A Firebird. And here's a Monte Carlo. A Falcon. And there's another old T-Bird. And here I think is a 69 Mustang with the side of a Torino over there. Big Pontiac over here. There's an old Mercury Cougar. And this is the first one of these I've seen in here. This, people used to kind of call this the rich man's Mustang. Here's a couple of Torinos. I just like that body style right there, but that one's gone as far as street use now. This area over here has several Cutlasses and Grand Prix in it over here. There's a couple of Monte Carlos. Another Volkswagen bus. For some reason, Volkswagen buses always seem like happy vehicles to me. Here's a convertible Mustang that's seen better days. I think that might be a Valiant wagon over there. It says this is a 34 Ford delivery. And it's sitting beside this old Galaxy right here. Come into another area of old Chrysler products again. I think that might be a Plymouth Roadrunner or Satellite over there. There's a Dodge Coronet, I think. That's a Fury. And there's an old Charger. Looks like the doors and quarter panel could still be salvageable on there. There's a Demon. I think that is a Capri right there. I hadn't seen many of those. It's on top of a Maverick. And this Oldsmobile, it's another one that's disappearing out here. There's another Challenger that had the graphics on it and everything it looks like. Here's old 68 Plymouth. I'm guessing it was a Roadrunner. Here's an old Cutlass. And it looks like before it made its way here to the junkyard, that somebody was actually trying to salvage it. I can see spots on it where they've been sanding it and they put Bondo on it. So at one time before it wound up here, they had hopes for it, but it just didn't make it. And there's an old Doodlebug that's getting swallowed up with the Vegetation. And I don't even know what that car is there. Looks like it used to be either white or yellow. It could be white and just have so much polish on it, it looks yellow. But I think that's a Javelin right down there. Yeah, it is a Javelin. Again, here's a lot of them just stacked up back here. Looks like that's a convertible there. Mid-60s, I guess, Chevrolet. Before this old Chevrolet wound up here, it looks like somebody actually had painted it with a brush. See a little Falcon wagon, I think it is, over there. Here's some more. Looks like this whole area is old Fords for the most part. And I think that's another Granada. Here's an old 442, maybe a 73 or 74 model, somewhere in there. So, Oldsmobile, Buick. And here's another Torino. I've actually seen a lot of these Torino bodies out here. Here's old 68 Chevelle. And as you can see, there's trees grown up through the engine compartment there. Side old Buick wagon here. I think this one buried in here is a Mercury Cyclone. I remember a friend of mine had a Cyclone Sport that had the little wing on the back, and I think it had a high performance package on it. And it was just a really sharp car. It was orange. I really liked it. Here's the old Pontiac GTO convertible. And if you're wondering what happened to all of them, here's one of them. And it's just slowly disappearing. I think that's a Chevelle over there. Here are a few Chevelles over here. This is like a 65, 64 model here, and that one over there I think is a 66 or 67. And this one, I know it's Chevelle only by the CHEVE that's left on the hood. It's a 4-door, so it would have been a Malibu. but you almost can't even see it for the vegetation now. There's a lot of cars down there I can see. I think I can see a 61 Chevrolet and maybe a Chevy, but I don't think it's even safe to even try to get down in there. Here's a four-door Chevy Malibu, and this facing a Pontiac Tempest. It's got badging, says 326 engine in there. There's a 66 Pontiac, I think, over there. I think it's Le Mans, but the body actually looks very straight on that car. So when it was parked here, it was very salvageable, I would say. Has all the chrome and everything in it too, it looks like. It is a Tempest. There's some type of old coupe sitting here. And behind it is a 58 Chevrolet, which was a four-door. And I don't know if that's some type of Chrysler product or what, with those big fins there. I like the look of that body though. It's actually a Lincoln. And guessing by the fins, the time era, and it had been probably the late 50s or so, I would guess, judging by the styling. But that's a pretty car. I mean, the lines of it and everything. Or it is to me. Here's another Pontiac. And I guess that big dent in the rear quarter is probably what's seen it here. It was probably old enough where they didn't figure it was worth fixing or something. Maybe the motor went out. There's what I think is a 59 Chevrolet, and I can see the front end of old Ford and some other cars. I'm not going to walk on down that way because I'm kind of afraid of the high grass. Or actually, I'm not afraid of grass, I'm afraid of snakes is what I'm afraid of. Here's another section of old Chrysler products. This is a Barracuda that's slowly returning to the earth. Here's, I guess, an old Roadrunner satellite. And I think this is a Cornet. I don't see a stripe or anything, so I don't guess it was a Super B. But it looks like some Furies over there. Didn't even notice this guy as I went by, but here's a Bigfoot sighting. Here's another old Barracuda sitting over here. I bet a lot of people could use that back glass. And all the glass probably. Vegetation is just taking over this old Fury and these other cars in here. The leaves that fell on the hood and pine needles for so long that it's finally created a bed that other plants can start growing out of. This is very unique. You don't see this on this scale very often. There's, I think, old Valiant. And there are thousands of cars here. I would guess, or I don't know, thousands. There's definitely hundreds. There could be. I don't know. You can probably go online and find out how many there are. There's a lot. There's more than I'm gonna be able to see today. And man, whoever was driving this one, if this came from the road, they really got T-boned in the side here. I think the trees caused the damage on this car here. See how the tree is grown into the rear quarter panel there. And it can't move the car because there's other trees on the other side. There's the old Pontiac Tempest Le Mans edition, it says. And here's an old Willis Jeep, I think. And there's a Buick station wagon sitting partially on top of it. There's a AMC Pacer, I think's what it was. That car sitting on top of her, I think, is a AMC Ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be very well mistaken. And are these Datsuns sitting here? Which I think the Datsun nameplate's gone now. Look at this old DeSoto sitting here. And I think this is an old Chevy truck beside of it. And there's old, I think Buick, I'm not sure, or Cadillac. What is it? To tell you the truth, I don't know what it is. I think it's a Buick. It's a four-door Oldsmobile with a tree coming out from the front grill area there. So Ford of some type. There's a Plymouth Savoy hiding over there and underneath all those needles. There's an old Buick, that huge grill in the front. You know, I bet a lot of people are looking for some of these parts in here, and I don't think that he sells parts out of here anymore. I think they're actually trying to preserve this in a way. Another old Oldsmobile, probably from the 40s or so. Here's an old Ford Country Squire wagon that I'm gonna guess from the late 50s or so, maybe early 60s. But you almost can't see it. As you can see, there's still a lot of cars down in there that you just can't get to them. Maybe in the wintertime when some of this vegetation dies away, you would be able to, but as of right now, I'm not going down in there. They've got a few lined up here against what looks like an old fence line. It looks like there's a field on the other side of these cars. Check out all the chrome and emblems on this one right here. That's pretty fancy. And that's around the 57 or so Ford, give or take a year or two. I always thought those cars were neat because the hood's open backward. When I was a kid, I thought, man, that's really something. It says 88 on this one with all the chrome on it. So I guess this is an Oldsmobile. I think that's a Pontiac there beside of it. But no, it's there's a 58 Chevrolet that's missing a front fender, and it's sitting beside the Pontiac. I've always liked that those chrome strips that go down the hood on that year model there. Now here's an old Ford wagon, and it looks like it had the wood trim there on the side. One of those Fords with the rear opening hood. It seems like the farther back you go into the junkyard, the older the cars seem to get back through here. And a lot of these older cars were before my time. That was probably from the late 40s, I guess. Look at the horn sticking out on that thing. I don't know if that would have been a factory when it was new. I don't know if you can see it through this vegetation or not, but it's got two big horns sticking out there. convertible. Here's somebody painted a racing number on it. Another Itzla. And there's a 55 Chevrolet 4-door. And there's a 57 4-door. And I see more down here in the distance. And I'm not going in there to take a look at those. Okay, I found where they keep all the 55 through 57 Chevys. And it looks like most of them are 4-doors. Which the 4-doors are becoming pretty valuable now. And let me take a closer look at this 57 front end right here. Looks like somebody's tried to make a truck out of it. They did. I'm not going to go back there, but you can see they cut the back end off and made a bed back there. I guess an early custom, you would say. There's a 2-door hardtop 57. Somebody had installed bucket seats in there, probably from a car from the 60s. And you can see straight down to the ground because the floor pan is rusted out there in front of the driver. And again, I see Bondo back here on the back of the van. This chair sitting here, like I say, I think this junkyard is 30-something acres. And I noticed there's chairs scattered out through here, so I guess if you get tired and you need to sit down and rest, you can. There's a big old Mercury. Like these two, while they're sitting, looks like they got into a fender bender. Yeah, this place is really interesting to look at. It's just amazing out here. There's a Pontiac there, and then a Plymouth, and then this is a Hudson. I don't know what that is behind the bushes there. I think that's a Pontiac right here. Here's an old Dodge Charger. I think it's a 70 model because I think I can still see that little rubbery gasket that went around the front chrome ring that would have been on the 70 model. There's no grill for me to identify. It does have the long tail lights instead of the round ones like would be in the 68 though. Plymouth Fury. And there's a row of Cadillacs. I can see the back end of them. I don't know how to get around there to that road on the front though yet. I'll probably make my way over there eventually. And here's a, I guess a satellite or something. Yeah, I found my way over to the front of these Cadillacs here. It says there are 230 joints in the human body, and the planet Venus has 1,600 volcanoes on it. Like I said, There's random signs all over the place here. Now, see this car here? I don't know if it's a Buick Riviera or what it is exactly. I'm not sure of this car. Could be a Pontiac, but I think it's a Buick. Yeah, I'm in the old Cadillac area right now. And here's old Pontiac convertible sitting over here in the area. Look how big this car was. These were some heavy duty cars and heavy cars for that matter. They even managed to save an old ice cream truck. I have no idea what kind it would be, whether it's international or something like that. But this is a piece of history. These things used to ride around the neighborhoods years ago and sell cones to kids, and it says "Watch for Children" there on it. This is actually still pretty intact, it looks like. I guess this explains how they did it back in the day. Look at all the refrigeration units in the back of this ice cream truck. It's a piece of history right there. No Oldsmobile there. And is this a Dodge truck or international truck? Here's the old Ranchero. They got a tree in the back, and there's two huge ones growing out through the grill here. A few weeks back, we went to a Volkswagen show in Chattanooga, and there was a guy had a Volkswagen bus there that he had dug out of the woods, and a tree had grown between the bumper and the grill, and he actually just cut the tree off because it was grown around it like this did, and he cut it off and he left it on there. He got it roadworthy, but he left the tree in there, and he named the Volkswagen bus Groot. I think this was an Opel GT. You don't see very many of these anymore, and that's if I've got the name correct. But my friend had one. He used to call it his baby vet because he couldn't afford a Corvette. And there's another little Ranchero sitting beside it. And another Ranchero. And here's old 57, I think. No, not 57, it had to be 58 or 59 panel truck. And there's another delivery truck, panel truck. This got an old Jeep front end or something hanging out the back over there. It could be the front on this, could be a full front end. There's an old Firebird Trans Am that I bet somebody would have loved to have. Here's a row of old Pontiacs. I think this is a 56, and I see it's got the little V8 emblem there on the side, so I guess it's probably came with a V8. Most of them I would guess would have been the straight 6 engines in there. I think that would have been somewhere 58, maybe a little newer than that, Ranchero. I didn't get it on camera, but I did just see a chipmunk, and I don't know if my camera will pick it up or not, but I'm not going over there. You can see all the bees swarming around that area. Yeah, that's not where I need to go. Now, is this a Studebaker truck here maybe, or an International? I hadn't seen this truck enough to know what it is. So if there's somebody out there that can tell me, let me know what that is. I do know this is a Ford over here. There's old Dodge truck. Dodge trucks weren't that popular, I don't think, back in the day, because not too many of them survived, I don't think. I don't think they sold as many of those. There's old International Harvester Scout with the roof removed, which I know that was very popular. I had a buddy that he got one, and once he got one, he fell in love with it, and he wound up owning about 4 or 5 over the next few years. Folks may put I guess a utility bed on the back of that one. I think this is an International or a Studebaker also. There's old Dodge. There's another old International, and I don't know what the model name is of this, and I'm not gonna go around to the back to see if I can see it, unless I can see it from that walkway from over there. Here's an old Ford stake bed truck, and when you look back there at the back, you can see the frame of those stake bed, but the bed itself, the floor, is already gone, and the side boards are disappearing. So no telling how long it's been sitting here. Now these are Volkswagen Karmann Ghias, and that one on the red one down there is too. This one, I don't know if this is an early model Karmann Ghia or something or not. I don't recognize this car. Again, if you know what it is, let me know. Now it looks like the International, I can see from over here, it looks like it might say Travelall or something on the back. There's another sign. It says, "Don't let a wishbone grow where a backbone should." Here's another one of the little Opel GTs. And I think this could be a Studebaker. I'm not sure. The model is Borg Ward. Again, this is something I have no clue what that is. This is a Rambler over here beside of it though. And I was able to look at the name tag on this one on the front there, and it's a Renault. But had it not said Renault there on the front name tag, I never would have known, never had a clue what it was. Here's a little MG, I think is what it is. And it says that little car over there is a Corolla. And that might be a little Triumph on the other side. And here's a Datsun. And I think Nissan bought them out years and years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But I do think that yellow car over there, just kind of blending in with the greenery, might be a little Triumph Spitfire. But again, I do the best I can, but I'm no car expert for sure. I just like cars. Now there's an AMC Pacer. They used to call those the fish tank because of all the glass around it. Another old Impala there, around a 59 or 60 model. And that might be a Pontiac. It was a convertible, whatever it was. It's like they almost made a fence right here, kind of like a border, stacking these cars up. There's a little Chevy 2 Nova station wagon. Okay, I must have approached those stacked cars from the wrong direction, because here's a sign that says, "Welcome to the Car Art Circle." And as you can see, in the distance, they are making a circle around through here. There's old Buick Riviera. The body looks straight, so when it was put here, it probably would have been salvageable. Now the there is a shed out here, and he's got some cars under it, and I guess there's some special value to these cars, reason he's got them under shed. This one has a sign that says Johnny Cash's 1946 1.5 ton Ford was used in Murder in Coweta County movie. In 1983, it had Johnny Cash and Andy Griffith. And this looks like a hearse beside of it here that somebody has cut down, or it could have just been a station wagon. But anyway, they've made a truck out of it. I think this is the oldest one I've seen in here, and all there is a frame and an engine, whatever it was. There's another Chevy 2 Nova station wagon in the ring of cars. Looks like some type of tiki man there on the door. There's a Corvair. It's got Jimbo's Auto Repair written on the door. Here's an old Pontiac, I think it is, and I don't know if it was some type of an official vehicle or something, but I do see it has a remnants of an old light on top. And it's a very unusual looking car. It's a long car for sure. There's a Ford Galaxy sitting there, and I guess a newer model Galaxy sitting on the front. Here's some old cars sitting on top of this box truck out here. Again, the ring just keeps going around here of cars. So they got a 56 Chevrolet there in the mix. And some old convertible. Here's an old Roadrunner buried in the grass. I think it's a 69 model. Here's another wall of cars they've built over here. And they actually have a cabin under construction here. I just found a bunch of old T-birds sitting here. Here's another old Mustang. Somebody wrote LSX swap on there. Here's a Cougar. I see another Mustang there in the distance, and another one. Yeah, I seem to have found where they keep the Fords and the Mustangs, right over in this area. Here's one gutted out, I guess 65, 66, somewhere in there. And here's a fastback. I guess it's probably a 69 or 70. That's sad when you see those bodies in here. And there's more T-birds over there, I see. A lot more T-birds. There's a little bit newer Mustang, early 70s, I guess. Cougar. There's another fastback Mustang. Wild guess is a 68 maybe. 67. And that Mustang there, he's almost buried in pine needles. There's what's left of a yellow fastback. I think that's a Cougar right there. Another Mustang. Okay, y'all, I've been walking in this junkyard for a couple of hours now, and I hadn't seen all of it. But I'm gonna head toward the front, and there's more cars out around front that I'm gonna take a look at. But I've been walking for a while out here, and I'm gonna try to get out of the main part of the junkyard. It says do a job, big or small, do it well or not at all. And I don't know if it was a reference to whoever put this car here upside down or what, but those are good words, I guess. And an elephant tooth can weigh up to 12 pounds. So if that's on jeopardy, you got the answer. This may have been part of their workshop when it was actually used as a salvage yard, but I saw they got this rack here with all these different axles on it. And I just noticed there's an old Falcon convertible that is in that building that has collapsed right there. I'm on my way out of the main part of the junkyard, but I do see an area over here where they got all the vans parked. It is really pleasant out here. There's birds been singing all morning, and you can still hear the road out in the distance, but it's still pretty peaceful and quiet out here in the woods. It says it was impossible to get a conversation going. Everybody was talking too much. Here's an old Oldsmobile F85. I'm still trying to get out of here, but I keep coming across areas that I'm not going to go through them, but I want to get a scan as I go by some of it. And I saw this on the trailer here, or actually sitting on top of the truck frame, it looks like. But is this an old Sunbeam Tiger? Is that a, seems like that car sticks out in my mind, is the name of it. And they got an old Corvette sitting up on top of this heister lift of some type for some reason. If you ever wonder what a Barracuda would look like with old wire spoke wheels, well, they laid some up there, I guess, so I guess you can see. Yeah, I made it back down to where the main building is at. I see they got the remnants of an old airplane over here. Yeah, I guess this was an old delivery truck of some sort. No, they've got all kind of little Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. I mean, thousands and thousands of them just around the offices here. So got a collection of pedal cars. See in the display case, there's all kind of old metal cars that would have been toys years ago. See a few, I guess, newer ones mixed in, maybe from the 80s. But most of them are metal from years back. Look at that old Chevrolet there on the end, that model. I see other old toys there, old phonograph player, toy piano. This is a really interesting place to be. And they got another old jukebox there. And there's a Johnson Humphrey campaign poster. And here's another sign that says success comes in cans, failure comes in cannots, or can'ts. You can see in the buildings they got the upper walls lined with a bunch of old pedal cars. And Prestone, which is antifreeze, I got a banner there when it was $2.70 a gallon. Now it's probably about 15 or so. They do have a gift shop here with t-shirts and long sleeve t-shirts. And it looks like painted rocks. Okay, if you ever make it over here to visit, this is what Old Car City looks like on the outside. It's in White, Georgia, which, like I say, it probably take 30, 45 minutes to get to Atlanta from here. But it is well worth coming and taking a look around. And you can see just a little bit here from the fence looking back in there. But like I say, it's 30-something acres, and I didn't get to see it all, but I hope y'all really did enjoy seeing what I did get to film. And I really enjoyed bringing it to you, and this has been a good day for me. And it was peaceful, birds singing as you walk through the woods. And now, as you can hear, I'm back out to the main road, all the traffic. But again, if you're ever in this area, I recommend you come here and take a look. And the guy who runs the place, he was nice as he could be to me. So hopefully he will be to you too. Until then, God bless y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next video.